And you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was
that.
How would you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute, in fairness.
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
All right, folks, we've got a messy one today. Dustin's been absent from his kids' lives for almost a year, but now he wants back in. The twist? He can't pay child support, so he offers to cover daycare instead. Sounds reasonable, right? Not to Sarah. She demands child support on top of that. Because let's be honest, the system always seems to favor the mother. So, will the court go along with it, or will logic finally prevail? Let's break it all down.
Okay, is it Miss or Mrs. Cheney?
Mrs.
Mrs. Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So, we were friends. We went out for drinks after a promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I ended up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're gonna have to give me child support. I'm not just gonna let you all of a sudden be dad, you know? And
how old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare's $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000 a year. That adds up to almost half his income if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
He has a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is correct.
And I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're self-employed?
That is correct.
So you did your own tax return?
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
Yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living wise, do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare for our child. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking...
Claims she and Dustin went out for drinks one night. Things happened, and boom, she's pregnant. But instead of stepping up, Dustin disappears for an entire year. Now, out of nowhere, he wants back in his kid's life. Here's the kicker. Dustin originally agreed to cover daycare, which costs a hefty $850 a month. But now he says he only makes $20K a year and just can't swing it. Do the math. That's nearly half his salary gone, and the guy isn't even living alone. He's splitting rent just to stay afloat. Now he's asking for a reduction, but... Sarah. Oh no, that's not enough. She wants child support and for him to keep covering daycare. So, will the court see Dustin's struggle, or is he about to get squeezed even more? Let's dive back in.
My point is that it seems kind of sketchy that he can afford almost $900 a month in daycare, but won't pay child support. I feel like there's something going on with the money situation. There's got to be a reason why he's doing things the way he does.
So you want him to pay $855 in daycare and child support?
I mean, he wants to be a part of his life.
That wasn't my question.
Okay.
Do you want him to pay $855 in daycare as well as pay child support on top of that?
I want us to be able to talk and discuss and find a number that works for both of us and that I think is fair.
Okay.
Just because I make more money than him doesn't mean I should be covering all of the child's expenses. $855 is daycare.
I definitely agree with that. I agree with that. So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally, he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would you get him on weekends? Would you get him on holidays? Things like that. So,
Well,
because he doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 that, I mean, because when you break that down based on child support for one child, it's not a lot of money. So if you were, let's say it's about $300 in child support. If you add that to $855, you're talking about child support in excess of $1,000. Are you asking that he pay $1,000 in child support?
I guess not exactly. I don't.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out why you're here and what you're asking me to do.
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what to do with the situation with him. I don't have a law degree, I don't have a lawyer, I don't know exactly how these things work.
Okay. And I'm helping you guys as much as I can.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you couldn't do daycare and child support, and I don't know what, I've never had child support before. I have no idea. I don't know, you know, what you can do, what you can't do, what happens with visitation and stuff like that. You know, he was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. You know, he was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit of a disconnect between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, et cetera, what I'm required to do. I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child? Okay, if we were to break down
that he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
what
put
was
that.
How will you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there.
Wait a minute, in fairness.
That may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that. And I took 100% responsibility for that child for a full 12 months. Okay.
Let's not blame it all on him. You have one child, correct? Okay, so let's stick to what is in front of us. We're not worried about any other children that may be out there. So based on the financial documents that he provided at 20%, his child support should only be about...
All right, so Sarah's looking real suspicious, saying it's shady that Dustin can afford daycare, but somehow can't pay child support. And to be fair, she's got a point. Just because she makes more money doesn't mean she should, foot the whole bill. Honestly, I kinda agree with her on that part. But here's where it gets crazy. Judge V straight up tells her that what she's asking for isn't even possible because, well, she's not making any sense. Sarah keeps saying Dustin hasn't given her a dime outside of recently paying for daycare, but the guy is literally using half his salary to make sure his kid is taken care of. Then Judge Vonda asks if this is his only child, and Sarah jumps in with a snarky, that he knows of, just to make him look even worse. She even claims that since he left her for a year, he's probably done the same to other women, just tossing out accusations with no proof, making him sound like some serial deadbeat. What do y'all think so far? Let me know in the comments. And let's dive right back in.
Health insurance is paid through you.
Yes.
How much do you pay?
It's like 130 or something a month. It comes right out of my check, so I'm not sure the exact amount of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm looking
130,
at
133, something like that.
I'm looking at what you also turned in. It looks like it's about $113.
13, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going to do to make it fair, because he is paying about 3 times the amount that his child support should be.
Yeah, well, his bar bills are about the price of that too, so.
Well, so are yours, but as I was saying, his child support is going to be set at what the daycare amount is. That's the fairest way to do it. At least we know that by you paying daycare, the child's daycare expense is covered each month. So that's something you do not have to worry about. And you will have to reimburse her for the health insurance that she has on the child. So when you add the $855 plus the $113, it comes out to $968 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. But the health insurance, if you have health insurance available through your job, you can enroll the child under health insurance and remove that $113 additional charge, and you'll be only responsible for $855.
To make sure I understand, so I'm already paying $855 a month as compared to the $349 that you calculated I should be responsible for. So now we're saying, well, instead of basing it off of $349, potentially lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement saying, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than double what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, well, when I say comfortably, I don't know your financial situation, but you've been paying it for some time.
With roommates and
right.
TV
and
dinners.
I understand, but under Texas law, we can deviate from what the guideline support should be if we find good reason to do it. And daycare expenses, they are considered one of those reasons. Now, if you two, while you're here, you want to agree to a lesser amount, if you want to meet in the middle and say, let's say you decide to do $700, let's say you decide to say $750, that's what you can do. But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare, it's $855. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare expense is covered. So, like I said, if you guys decide to come in with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today? Okay, anything further? No. Okay, well, there's nothing further, you all missed.
Okay, so to wrap this all up, Sarah is currently covering the health insurance for the kid, but Judge Vonda points out that Dustin has already been paying 3 times more than what he should be paying. Still, the judge orders that he has to reimburse Sarah for the insurance, and on top of that, he's stuck continuing to pay the daycare and the health insurance now. At this point, Dustin speaks up, asking why he still has to pay so much, and Judge Vonda lays it out for him. Since he's already been paying the $850 for daycare, he has to keep paying it because in Texas, daycare is considered a solid reason for child support since it's in the best interest for the child. So yeah, Dustin tried to step up and now he's locked in a bigger financial responsibility than he expected. Classic, right? But anyways, if you enjoy content like this, check out one of these videos right here, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna catch you guys all in the next one.
All right, to wrap this up, Sarah covers the kid's health insurance, but Judge Vonda points out that Dustin has already been paying 3 times more than required. Still, he's ordered to reimburse Sarah and keep covering daycare and insurance. When Dustin questions why, the judge explains that since he's been paying $850 for daycare, he has to continue because in Texas, daycare counts as child support. It's all about the child's best interest. So, Dustin tried to step up and ended up with a bigger financial burden than he expected. Classic, right? Like, comment, and subscribe. Catch y'all in the next one.